We now routinely face immoral situations like last week's news that pharmaceutical giant Merck is planning to charge Americans, you're going to love this, $712 for a COVID drug that cost $17.74 to produce and whose development was subsidized by the American government.
No, pause this. Oh my Lord. What the hell? $712 for a COVID drug that costs only $17.74 to produce. And what makes it worse, at the bottom of it, it says it's the development of it was subsidized by the American government.
Yo, what's going on, people? Big up yourselves all the time, every time, and welcome back to Out of the Box with myself, Jago, and the legends that always be with me.
How we doing, people? Welcome back to another fantastic episode of Out of the Box. If you're enjoying this episode, don't forget to subscribe. I'm JMG News. Let's have a fantastic show.
Yep, boy.
People them. Let's have a banging episode. Bring up the panel. Yo, let's do this.
Let's do it. Right, so we're back again. We are here with season 3, episode 4. It's time to control Big Pharma. Jeez. Now we know about Big Pharma. They basically run the whole medicine situation. I suppose that's
the real.
And we know, obviously, from the past, there's been many lawsuits against a lot of the big companies for a lot of their outputs. So we're going to look at that today, and we're going to go straight to my guy, Russel Brand.
Russel Brand.
I'm quite gassed, actually, when watching him, because I watch him a lot, and I like this guy, you get me? So I'm quite happy and proud to have him on the show. Yeah. Jeez. So boom, let's go.
Do you feel anxiety about Big Pharma? I don't have no opinion on such things. But would it be any wonder if people did have anxiety about Big Pharma when Merck are charging 40 times the cost for a new anti-COVID drug? Let's think about it together. Let's come up with solutions collaboratively. Thanks all 4 million plus of you for joining us on this journey to truth that we're undertaking together and collaboratively. Wait till the end of this video. I've got some interesting things to tell you. And in fact, until then, everything I'm going to tell you is interesting. Like, for example, David Sirota, writing in the Daily Poster, said Merck is planning to charge Americans 40 times its cost for a COVID drug whose development was subsidized by the American government. Let me stop you right there. Does that worry you? No matter what this drug is or what this drug is for, or whether it's effective or whether it's the best or worst or even a mediocre treatment to the condition in question, does it trouble you that you pay your government taxes, your government does some experiments to develop a drug, then a private firm makes the money from that? Now, you don't have to be a communist to find that objectionable. You don't even have to be a socialist. You just have to care about fairness. In a time of medical emergency, if it is your perspective that that's what's being encountered, then surely what is required is a collegiate sense.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Well, obviously,
40 times was that?
It's not fair at all. Right? It's ridiculous. I mean, we know that they extort us anyway through medicines. But like you said, at a time where medicines are at its most sellable, mate.
That's mad.
Yes, it's disgusting, man. It's just basically making profit on people's misfortune. But unfortunately, that's just the whole eccentric of how Big Pharma is set up, if anything. But yeah, man, and especially in this in a pandemic type situation as well, where if anything, medicine is more required now than ever.
Yeah, no, I hear that. So off what you said just quickly, do you feel like, say, they are profiting, like you said, off misfortune, yeah, but don't you feel like it's like a misfortune they have created?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, so it's a double-edged sword. Essentially, they created this, and then they've also profited off it. So it's a mass plan to essentially, like, one is control, two is fear, and three is money, because they've created it, they've profited off it, they've fear-mongered and created this society that we kind of have today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sense of support and togetherness. Surely the rules of economic
systems
systems that lead to inequality have to be temporarily put aside. Oh no, they don't. This pandemic has also been the time of the biggest wealth transfer in history. The poorest people have got poorer, and billionaires on average have got 50% richer. Do you think decisions of this nature are anything to do with it? The situation spotlights two sets of facts which have gone largely unmentioned in the legislative debate over whether to let Medicare negotiate for lower drug prices. Fact one, Americans are facing not merely expensive drugs, but prices that are examples of outright profiteering. I mean, I wonder when they're setting the price, should we charge twice as much as it cost us? That's 100% profit. How about 3 times as much? Whoa, 150%, that's 300% profit. I got an idea. Oh, come on, what's your idea? 40 times as much. All right, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that's outrageous, that's profiteering, that's racketeering, that's borderline socially irresponsible and psychopathic, but then I remembered it's my job to run this place. Therefore, you're promoted. Fact two, in many cases, the medicines we're being gouged on are those that we, the public, already paid for. These facts show us that pharma bankroll Democrats, you can check those statistics, we'll be doing a video on that elsewhere, trying to kill drug pricing measures aren't just bought and paid for in this particular skirmish, they are foot soldiers in the pharmaceutical industry's larger multi-decade campaign to seal off and rig America's alleged free market. This seems to be how big business ultimately behaves. First, it's ingenious. Second, it's competitive. Third, it's thriving. Fourth, annihilate all competition. In a sense, I've told you this before and I'll tell you again, look at my podcast with Anwar Shaikh, expert on capitalism, on my podcast Under the Skin, available from Luminary. He'll tell you that this isn't like an anomaly. This is what this economic system is designed to do. Don't be surprised if your flesh-eating killer robot eats your flesh and kills you. You can't call up and ask for a refund. Well, what did it do? Well, it ate my flesh and it killed me. Well, not me, it's my son, didn't it? Mind you, I'm glad to see the back of him. First, there's the price point on drugs. It's not merely that Americans are paying the world's highest prices for...
Yes, what do you lot think about that?
That is great, but like I do fully understand the way he's put that. Like, you get what I'm saying? That is crackers though, man, the way they want to do things, the way they're doing things over there right now. They are like just keeping people poor and they're just taking people's money, like.
Yeah.
They're just taking money on a whim whenever they feel like it.
Crazy, like, they're getting away, and it's like they're doing it blatantly, and they're just getting away with it. It's weird, like there's no like justice no more. It seems like it's that if you're in the top ways, then you get me. You're the ones that's
like
getting everything.
That's nuts. I just don't. It's like they. How can I put it right? That I feel like they've done a Martin Shkreli move.
What's that?
Do you get what I mean by that?
Nah.
So Martin Shkreli, yeah, he's a guy that basically developed a cure. I think it was for AIDS or something. Yeah, and he put up the price to like 500 times of what it was. You know what I mean? It wouldn't bring the price down.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think he sold it anyway. Like it was bought. It was bought off him. You know what I mean? So I feel like they're just doing a Martin Shkreli move, man.
Mad thing.
I know that obviously to the people that obviously don't know who Martin Shkreli is, he is someone that is a philanthropist. If you might want to call him that. He is, to me, is a bit of a cockroach, you know what I mean? But I think he's more famously known for having beef with the Wu-Tang.
Okay.
Well, Ghostface Killer in particular.
Yeah.
It's that in many cases, not me, it's my son, isn't it? Mind you, I'm glad to see the back of him. First, there's the price point on drugs. It's not merely that Americans are paying the world's highest prices for pharmaceuticals, it's that in many cases we are paying prices that aren't even close to what consumers in other countries pay. Well, that's terrible. You're getting ripped off over there in America. It's not right. A new public citizen analysis shows that the 20 top-selling medicines generated almost twice as much pharmaceutical industry revenue in the United States as in every other country combined. Sure, as compared to others, Americans may buy a lot of prescription drugs, which, by the way, in itself is cause for concern.
That's a lot, isn't it?
I was going to say, what are we thinking about that number right now? Because that's crazy.
And these are
in the world.
And you got to remember, yeah, these companies, yeah, they're mucking about. They're basically trying to build and trying to make all these brand new super drugs, these wonder drugs and all of that. You know what I mean? So like, imagine the money they're bringing in from that. COVID's just been been a massive payday for them.
Yeah.
It seems like an absolute massive payday, but they don't want the payday to end.
No, of course not.
You get what I mean?
Of course not.
And where they don't want the, and this is where the underhandness comes in, and the 40 times this comes in, and all sorts. Like, what information have they gave to the people then that warrants that you want 40 times the amount it's worth?
Yeah, tactics.
Where's the information for the people to know? Is it
financial tactics?
Isn't it? But this study reflects something much bigger at play. Pharma sculpted public policies that allow drug price levels to go beyond profits and into profiteering. I'm minded of British colonialism when the East India Tea Company went over to India, started getting loads of tea, and then the folk that lived there were like, "Oh, man, this is our tea." And then the British government came over and went, "We'll back you, East India Company. In fact, well, we might as well take over all of India. The rest is literally history." But now this kind of colonization takes place on native indigenous populations. The population of America are being colonized by the corporations that the government is there to support, that they're in cahoots with those very corporations. When who are they meant to be for? Who do they ask to vote for them? It's you, isn't it? Oh, I don't. Wow, that's so weird. That term profiteering is important here because drug makers aren't losing lots of money in other countries where they sell medicines at lower prices. Let's remember, pharmaceutical companies aren't altruistic charities that offer their products abroad at a loss. On the contrary, they are still making healthy profits at lower world market prices. Isn't that a complicated aspect of the current times when you know that certain pharmaceutical companies are absolutely integral to the rollout of particular medical programs, have in their very recent history, for example, with the opioid crisis, behaved in a way that, and according to already published judicial payouts and settlements, behaved in a criminal way? I find that very, very challenging, and to the point of the title of this video, is it any wonder that we have difficulty trusting pharmaceutical companies? I'm not saying it's right to trust them or right not to trust them. I have no opinion on that matter. Your opinion is for you, my opinion is for me. Free trade in the area of communication, absolutely vital. It's concerning though when you recognize that the primary function of an organization is to generate profit, that will necessarily, if it is at odds with ethics or even sometimes veracity, trump.
So just on that, we obviously see a lot of times people travel out to like the Eastern world to go and get certain operations done because the cost of it over there is a reasonable cost.
Much cheaper.
Then people there have put in time to research and learn what they're doing, more so because it's not commercial, because they're pushed to do it. They're pushed to be good, like better at doing what they're doing. So
there's also as well treatments in every country that like they're not deemed like. In every different country, they have their own specific rules for what they deem that they can have as treatment. That's like how certain people will fly to, as you said, for a particular country for a treatment. So that also comes into play as well. But yeah, I agree, man.
I mean, with that as well, I suppose, you know, every country has certain treatments, their own treatments as well. But I guess, you know, the most basic country with the most basic treatment, if that is effective, then all the rest of the other countries that are doing all these other treatments that are making a lot more profit are basically taking a mick. And then, you know, you come to us, and now we're in this stage, it's like, raw, like, we're basically being fully mugged off here, boys. You get me? They're taking the mick out of it. And that's why.
And here's the thing, right? Yeah, go on.
No, go on.
No, go on.
I was going to say,
finish.
that's why, like, human beings need to stay organic, mate. Yeah? Don't let this processed chemical stuff get in you.
And, like, on a level, yeah, like, I do think as well, after obviously seeing this and knowing what they're doing in America, like, if we quickly keep it a stat and bring that, and we jump on that plane and come over here, what are they doing over here? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and you gotta remember, like, us lot are in cahoots with them too, because half of these companies are all over there.
Yeah.
Is it? So what for over here obviously is also.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So just, I don't know, they like to place blame on people without looking at themselves, you know what I mean? Like, can't be saying all that when you're all at fault.
I think maybe it is time we thought about taking a look and having some certain people of certain authorities start looking to controlling these people and what they're actually doing. You know what I mean? Because as he said already, like the buzzword, I reckon the buzzword of the episode, which he's used more than once already, is profiteering. That's what it is, basically. Yeah. Forget that's what it's leading to. That's exactly what it is. That's what he just explained it plainly.
And let us know, guys, in the comments down below, do you believe and agree with big pharmaceutical companies at this level profiteering, obviously, from these medicines? Let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to hear your opinions and your thoughts.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, man, therefore.
And there's a word you love. For all the pharmaceutical industry's self-congratulatory rhetoric about its own innovations, the federal government uses your tax dollars to fund a lot of that innovation, research and development. A study from the National Academy of Sciences tells the story. The federal government spent $100 billion to subsidise the research on every single one of the 200 plus drugs approved for sale in the United States between 2010 and 2016. In business terms, the public is the early venture investor in these products, and we deserve a share of the returns when these products prove valuable. However, in the mid-90s, that business axiom was...
Like, see, I did have that thought in my head, like, if we are basically an investor for this, where's their piece if they're where's their piece? Where's their piece back? Where's their return?
No return.
You know what I mean? Like, I believe they deserve it. They deserve that.
Oh yeah, of course.
You're taking their money and using it for that. You know what I mean? So where's their piece if it goes well, if it makes money?
Yeah.
They're making millions, if not billions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What you can't bring peace to that to the public.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Was tossed out when drug lobbyists convinced the Clinton administration to repeal rules that allowed federal officials to require government subsidized drugs to be offered to Americans at a reasonable price. What kind of president would throw out that helpful bit of administration? Oh, we don't look at this thing here. Oh, this archaic, useless bit of legislation. You see what it says here? This is risible. This belongs to a bygone age. Come on, what is it? Well, it says that if the government funded the research to a drug, and the government's funds, of course, come from you. They don't have their own funds. They've not got a lemonade stand out back. Their money's your money, right? Well, if they use that money to develop a drug, it says that like the pharmaceutical companies that then take on that drug and sell it to the public have to sell it at a responsible price. Especially, look, reasonable price. How dare you? How dare you ask for something at a reasonable price? What can I get it at? Have it at an unreasonable price. A few years later, Congress, with then Senator Joe Biden's help, voted down legislation to reinstate these rules. We'd like to reinstate that rule about the reasonable price. I don't think we should do it. And later, the Obama administration rejected House Democrats' request that federal officials at least provide guidelines to government agencies about how they can exercise their remaining powers to combat drug price gouging. Could we at least have some guidelines? No guidelines. Work it out for yourself. The result? We now routinely face immoral situations like last week's news that pharmaceutical giant Merck is planning to charge Americans, you're going to love this, $712 for a COVID drug that cost $17.74 to produce, and whose development was subsidised by the American government.
Pause this. Oh my Lord. What the hell? $712 for a COVID drug that costs only $17.74 to produce. And what makes it worse, at the bottom of it, it says it's the development of it was subsidized by the American government. I'm a bit speechless, Pete. What are you saying?
Well, if anything, I think Americans are going to have even less trust in their government right now than this. If any of the American audience is watching this right now, let us know your thoughts, students, down below.
Please let us know. Let us know.
I wonder if this is
love
going
to know.
Like put a bad perception. I mean, obviously the pharmaceutical companies haven't got the greatest of perceptions of a company, but people trust them a certain level in it already. But do you think that this might push people completely not trusting them now?
See, I don't think not completely. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying
there's always going to be some people who are patriotic towards the government.
I don't think not completely. I think this is just another stepping stone and another batch of people moving over to the other side. You're still going to have some, and with every little thing that happens, more and more will just move over till there's none left.
I think you analysed that pretty well, to be honest with you. But then I also believe at the same time, there's always going to be a little majority amount of people that are going to be so patriotic towards the government. They'll just ride for whatever they say, if you get what I'm saying. But you are right, for everything that happens, there's just going to be more and more people that are going to start to, in a sense, wake up and look at the situation and be like,
exactly. And them same people that you're talking about, them same patriotic people you're talking about, watch when they have to take money from the army. What, you think they're not going to go over to the other side now?
Oh yeah. But I'm just gonna say, with them, it will be a slower type rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it will be a slower rate, but I reckon they will move on.
They will all eventually.
You know what I mean? And then obviously with all of this, then people in other countries are gonna go, well, if that's what they're doing over there, what's happening over here? Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna get people looking to their government.
You might go the other way, to be fair, as well. So I'm thinking, as a consumer, if I went to the pharmacy, and so actually the first thing I want to say is this means, that we're going to be having another major COVID attack, because if they're making a COVID drug at that price, they're going to create something where people want to, or people are going to have to spend that money to be safe. So that's the first thing. Second, like I said, if I went into like a pharmacy, and there was paracetamol there for £12, and then next week I went in there and the paracetamol was like now £800, automatically, what the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be like, right, what's going on here? I'm not buying none of that now. You get me? So don't you think like the majority of the consumers are going to be more or less of the working class, which is like the majority of what you find? And if that is the case, then doing that, you're gonna have to make them very desperate. You get me? For them to accept that to be something real. Because right now in the UK, they're saying, well, Thursday, Omnicom's saying he's going on holiday, mate. He ain't gonna be around in the UK no more. So you guys can come out of that now, But so. If that's the case, is this mad? Like, for me, I just think like it doesn't make sense, innit? Like, I don't know how you're gonna do that. No one's really gonna accept that. People are gonna turn to more alternative,
conventional alternative medicine.
Yeah, they're kind of looking to taking it into their own hands, and you know what I mean, like just looking off these numbers, essentially, you know what I mean, 1774 for
$712.
Right, that's like a month. That's like nearly more than a half a month's wage. That means you're paying your mortgage, and the other half of the money is going on the pill.
Man.
A realistic way of trying to get people to live.
I mean, that's beyond ridicule. Right, you know that drug cost $17? Yeah, I remember when we gave you $17. Could we buy some? Yeah. How much is it? About $17? Shade over that, because you've made the packets and everything. I suppose you've gone to a lot of trouble, adverts with those bits under the bottom, all the disclaimers. Yeah, it's actually those bits where it goes, meat cost, rashes, that has cranked up the price a little bit. Oh, how much? It's $700 now. Is that a joke? No, that's the price. That's just the latest example of the absurd paradigm. We take the risk of investing early in the product because, again, how this economic system works. Oh, there's risk involved there. Can we mitigate risk? Mitigation of risk, that's an economic principle of the system that we live within, that we're all participants in, that none of us are free from. We're all in it. I recognise the platforms that I'm on. I recognise that we all have to make money. All of that, I recognise. But the elimination of risk is you're getting the risk, they're getting the profit. That's mental. We take the risk of investing early in the product, but instead of that investment reaping us something valuable like affordable prices, we are rewarded with price gouging by the drug makers that bankroll the lawmakers who've rigged the rules and aim to keep them rigged. That's not a free market. No, it isn't, is it? A free market would be, well, we had to take this risk, so don't we deserve the profit? Yeah, but the profit's outrageous. Come on, pay some tax on it, build some hospitals and stuff. That at least it's a sort of a negotiation around something that sounds like something that's happening on this planet, not some evil planet with people with just one eye in the middle of their foreheads and like big sharp jagged teeth that want to eat your babies. This is not a free market, it's top-down command economy, perfectly calibrated for price gouging, and the pharmaceutical industry and its puppet politicians want to keep it that way. Well, there you go. That sounds like old David Sirota, as if they're now on the bumps. Polls show that the idea of allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices is popular to the point where swing state Republicans and swing district Democrats and even former President Donald Trump have expressed support for it. Big Pharma appears to have zeroed in on Senator Kristen Sinema, Democrat from Arizona, as one of their lead obstructionists to help kill or gut the plan. In the 2020 election cycle, pharmaceutical political action committees suddenly funneled more money to her than they did in the whole 6 years she served in the US House. Right, let's give Kristen Sinema a lot of money. I like her name. I like everything about Arizona. Funnel money, funnel money, funnel money. Do you expect anything back from her? No. I just want to see a lot of money funneled at her. The one-time progressive activist Sinema campaigned on lowering drug prices, and she was still calling on Congress to address rising drug costs as recently as last year, but reportedly told Biden she opposes the party's proposal. Kurt Schrader, Scott Peters and Kathleen Rice used their seats to try and block it over the course of their careers. Peters and Schrader have raised a combined $1.5 million from donors in the pharmaceutical and health product industries. Peters and Schrader defended their personal ties with the pharmaceutical industry. Schrader reportedly received a quite large inheritance from his grandfather who was Oh, well, weirdly, and this is just a coincidence and these things happen in life and I don't want you to be cynical about this, he was an executive at Pfizer, but don't let that bias you and make you cynical about this life. He said he's proud of the work my grandfather did developing mass production for Pfizer. I bet you are, mate. Peter's wife is the CEO of an investment firm whose portfolio company provides manufacturing and packaging for pharmaceutical companies.
All right.
He said it's ridiculous to believe he has a conflict of interest. Hey, you've got a conflict of interest? That is ridiculous. How you can sit here in my mansion, paid for by Pfizer, and accuse me of loving Pfizer. Get out. Get out of my man. Never, ever cross my Pfizer-sponsored door and doormat and beautiful porch area again. God, ridiculous. Okay, where's that dog of mine? Pfizer, and where are the cats? Johnson! Well, there you have it. I've got no opinion. I just...
That was hard. That was hard. I love
Yeah. Big up, salute.
I believe in freedom. I believe in your freedom. I believe in my freedom. I believe in all sorts of freedom. And I'm certainly not an expert on medical matters. And I'm certainly not a prominent voice for any perspective. I want people to be free. I want you to think clearly and freely. Many things in that story actually made me laugh out loud at the levels of corruption. So anyway, hit me with your...
Alright,
Yeah.
so, just like he said, man, there's certain things that he read in there which was absolutely absurd. I couldn't believe it. If that's how they're going to run the thing, it's disgusting, mate. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Yeah, definitely. more than anything. It just shows how Big Pharma just do not care.
Yeah. So
I
I
just
mean,
think it's nuts.
if they're gonna look to like, so basically this is the conclusion. So we've been hearing that there's gonna be another pandemic anyway, from Manlike B.Dot, that we're gonna be facing. So they're making a drug which at the moment doesn't really matter anymore. People don't care about, you know, taking a COVID drug because they've had their vaccines and all the rest of it. So realistically, they're not going to spend another £712 for each individual in their family to take a drug. There's going to have to be like a very, very big incentive for people to do that. And that means that they still think that a lot of people are sleeping and like they're just accepting everything that they're talking about. Realistically, I think, you know, you're going to find certain people who are not going to be able to afford it and who are on the vaccinated side but are going to not be able to buy it and then get the COVID and then get natural antibodies and then they're going to be all right. Then you're going to find like the upper class people who've got the money. They're all going to jump on it. It's going to be like a trend. Yeah, we can get this. The lower class can't get this. This is our drug kind of thing, isn't it? But I think it will cause a big kind of split between the people who can have it and people who can't have it.
Yeah, it's just going to be like the vaccine thing again.
And what is in this COVID thing anyway? What is in
no one knows.
This is what I'm
no
saying.
one knows yet. No one knows yet, man.
No tests, no experiments, no thing for us, like statistics or facts or anything. This
just pay $712.
Trust the word of people who are like blatantly trying to rip you off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I just feel if anything, like man said in the vid, innit, like really and truly, just try and be a bit more ethical with that money, innit, with them profits, bro. It's so cool. Get a tax on that. Build some more hospitals. Do them sort of thing there, bro. You're only gonna get seen in a good light, and people are gonna want to use you, knowing that you do that.
Yeah, 100%. I also believe like there needs to be an organisation that they have to go through first before anything can get released. That has to be done, man.
I hear that.
So that's about it, really. Then with this episode. So we all agree that pharmaceutical companies need controlling
100%.
at some level, definitely at some level.
100%.
So I mean, all I can say, as I say every week, is do your due diligence and make sure you just kind of. We're human beings, man. We're organic beings. So there's always organic solutions. Yeah? Let's just go down that route sometimes, guys. Please.
We ain't always got anything.
Therefore, man.
So yeah, it's out for me anyway. Jago, all the time, every time. Big up yourselves, people. Cheers.
Shout out to everybody who's watched the episode. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here today, don't forget to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new here. Ring the notification bell because that way you'll be informed each and every single time that we create brand new content. Big shout out to the panel. I've been GMG News, and I will see you in the next episode. I appreciate you guys.
Hope we enjoyed the episode. Feel like it was another banger. Remember, your opinions, your thoughts, they're appreciated, they're valid. Put them in the comments. Let us know if you agree, if you don't agree. Just let us know. We're here for the conversation.
Yeah.
Straight up. So other than that, people them. Manlike is out.
Hey.